Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's Friday, it's 5pm. We're recording this a little bit early because as you listen to this, I'll be presenting the first talk at Bristol Craft Beer Festival.
How are you doing both at once, Johnny? Is it the magic of television?
It is the magic of podcasting. Hard as it is to believe, we do not record this on a Friday at 5pm. In fact, the podcast comes out. Actually, last week it came out at lunchtime because we were super organised.
Yeah.
Which caused some concerned messages from people. I think we lifted the veil a little too far, and people realised that generally it's Friday mornings that this is put together. I've probably just spoiled the surprise there. We don't always drink during. Well, I speak for myself. Brad might be necking.
I mean, I'm drinking water because I've got a headache. So there you go.
Oh,
Advocar. Wow. I haven't had Advocar in many years. I can remember buying.
You mention it in every Christmas live show. You're always like,
Well, I've got fond memories as a teenager who looked older than I was, going and buying it in the local Sainsbury's. You're
never going to get ideaed for Advocar, are you? Because people just be like, this guy must be ain't nobody ordering.
He's buying this eggy nonsense from the Netherlands. Yeah, Advocar and lemonade, mate. Snowball, can't beat that at Christmas time.
God. Sounds rancid. Anyway, let's not get into Christmas drinks. Not for a good couple of months.
No.
I'm at Bristol Craft Beer Festival currently / this weekend, depending on your point of view. So if you are Bristol bound for the festival, or if you live in Bristol and haven't got your tickets, there are still tickets available. I'm hosting talks and slinging books all weekend. We've got a great lineup of exciting breweries that are coming along and doing tastings of their beer, and I'm hosting and trying not to get in the way. And I'll sign books, I'll sign foreheads, I'll take pictures, whatever it is you want from me. Increasingly with a smile on my face as I get drunker.
Nice. Don't promise too much, Johnny. But yeah, you're not signing babies, presumably. Are babies allowed at beer festivals?
I don't think babies are allowed in. I'd sign a baby.
There you go. Are babies allowed at beer festivals? That's the podcast title right there for you.
I bet there's a blog. I bet there's a blog about that. America frequently, like the blogging community, often explodes over the idea of kids in tap rooms because, obviously people with kids are like, yes, they should be, and people without kids are like, actually, it's quite annoying.
Kids, yeah, they are kind of annoying. Maybe you should have a nap room in the tap room.
Oh my god, a nap room in the tap
for
room.
the mamas and pap room with the little taps. They can chill somewhere. I tell you what, man,
have a milk stout on tap in the nap room.
The best sort of vaguely beer-related show I've ever seen, I watched this week, which is called Colin from Accounts, which is brilliant. Have you seen it? It's on iPlayer.
I think everyone's seen it now, haven't they?
Have they? Okay.
Yeah, it's massive.
You've never bloody mentioned it.
Well, I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it.
It was really good.
I'm telling you now.
It's in a tap room in Australia, isn't it? It's kind of set around that, and a little dog with some wheels, and a sort of rom-com sitch going on. Very, very entertaining. And a little.
Do you know they're a couple in real life?
No way,
actors.
Are they?
Yeah.
I thought they had really good sort of magnetism with each other. So that makes a lot of sense. Were they a couple before?
I think so. Yeah, I think this is a passion project of theirs.
In every sense.
In every sense. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good show, and the beer facts are on point. There's nothing that made me go, oh, come on.
No, it's not like that awful thing that was on Netflix about people starting a brewery that was like a comedy. Fucking
yeah,
show
I never ended up watching that because just nobody had a good thing to say about it.
I watched about 10 minutes of it and I was like, this is dry. This is, factually incorrect. This is like totally bogus. Like, I don't think people like interact like this. Just not good. Amazing what does get commissioned sometimes. But
and what doesn't? But behind the scenes, we're forever pitching to TV channels and never quite reaching that final hurdle.
The hairy drinkers.
The hairy drinkers, yeah.
That's who we are, basically.
It's a great pitch.
I know, right?
The hairy drinkers. Or Top Beer, depending on
it's always
how
the
sexist
same.
we want the TV show to be. Actually, no, to be fair, Top Gear is a lot of things. It's never been that sexist. Although Jeremy has recently outed himself as one. Anyway, we had an exciting meeting this morning, didn't we, Bradley?
Yeah, man. We are deep in the undergrowth of designing our app, which is incredibly exciting.
We sort of saw it roughly how it's going to look for the first time today.
Yeah, although
clickable and everything.
I don't think that means it's going to be out anytime that soon, but it's certainly in the works, isn't it?
It's going to be this summer.
Wow, I mean that's
this summer.
Yeah, I think that's optimistic, but we've got one developer.
My idea is I wanna get it out in time that we can use it to help promote the festival.
Yeah, it's an admirable idea.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. Although we'll probably sell more tickets to the festival than we will apps in the first couple of months of the app being out. But it is going to be awesome. We can't give any more details because we're still arguing and discussing. Arguing's a strong word.
It's a
ruminating.
It's a true collaboration between our opposing opinions. Although I don't think we're that opposed in many things. It's just
you take my ideas and go yes and then at some point I have to rein you in. Is essentially how these meetings go.
I think we can make it bigger and better. But I think we're going to have a really solid foundation pretty soon, hopefully. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
It's very exciting. It's going to pull together everything that we do into one beautiful space with a little feature that we've wanted to do for a long, long time and people constantly ask us for. So, yeah, it's exciting. We will be able to reveal all soon. I did mention our beer festival, just in case you're not aware. We are hosting a beer festival on the 16th of September called Love and Beer to celebrate 10 years of the Craft Beer Channel. There are tickets below. For part of that, we are brewing 10 collaboration beers. We've so far announced, North, Beak, Verdant, Omnipollo, Hackney. I'm missing somebody. Siren. And this week we can announce that Lost and Grounded have joined the bill.
Wow.
To brew a Crispy Boy with us.
Mate. Doesn't get much better than that for me. Crispy Boy, Lost and Grounded.
Beautiful. No, I mean they are the. I very much doubt that anybody at the brewery has ever used the term Crispy Boy, and if they're listening to this, they're probably emailing me right now to say everything's cancelled. But they are the best Crispy Boy makers in the UK,
without a doubt, unchallenged.
Indeed. So yeah, we thought we should have something crispy and refreshing at the festival, rather than in juxtaposition to say on the Pollo collab, which is going to be Brad's Breakfast, which is an 11% coffee, cinnamon, vanilla milk stout.
Craziness, absolute craziness.
Yeah, so there's going to be all sorts. We've got Westies, we've got New Englands, we've got sours. It's going to be amazing, and there will be a live show with some of those beers as well for those that can't make the festival. The other thing to mention, just while we're doing a quick promo, is of course that on the 20. Oh God, Bradley, I've forgotten the date. 24th.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I've also forgotten the date. Let's have a quick look.
Dig it out my YouTube calendar.
Diary.
No, the other one. It is the
24th.
24th. Oh, you beat me to it. The 24th of June, we are doing a live show with Elusive.
July.
Oh my God. No, June.
What?
June.
Is it? Oh shit.
June.
Yeah,
in
sorry.
just over 2 weeks, mate.
I'm just being dyslexic. Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
Oh my God.
I read it as July. It's June. Sorry about
So it's June. You know, if this was a YouTube thing, we'd be like, "Oh, we'll do that section again," but not on the podcast. 24th of June. So in just over 2 weeks' time, we're doing a live show with the one and only Elusive. We've got a stellar box, including what many call the goat of Westies in the UK, which is Oregon Trail, and a collab between Elusive and what many would say is the goat of hoppy cask beer.
Wow.
Which is Oakham Citra. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one, along with milds and stouts, a sour, all kinds of exciting stuff. And you can buy that Taste Along box at the link below as well. You haven't really drunk anything this week, you were saying, Bradley?
Not a lot. I've been pretty busy with the app stuff and various other tasks and chores. I guess. Did we have a long? We didn't have a long weekend. We've just had so many long weekends lately that everything seems to have just merged now. Where I work from home, it's just all gets really confusing, Johnny. But it's been a busy week. I am going to Margate this weekend, so I will be doing a micropub tour with hopefully a couple of friends and Kirsty, and we're gonna hit up some of my favourite joints in the sunshine. So life don't get much better than that. So it doesn't matter that I haven't drank all week, because I'm going to make up for it by drinking
storing it up.
Lots of lovely cask over the weekend in micropubs. And maybe,
what's the...
depending on how hot it is, Johnny, maybe a cheeky cider just to take the edge off. You know, kind of... I find them quite refreshing when it's very, 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 very hot. So I might.
Do you go to the Fez when it's hot? Because that's a real shady spot.
Yeah, I would definitely go to the Fez. But also, if it's hot, I'd go and sit on the roof of the Harbour Arm. It's literally like on the roof, and then people bring up ghetto blasters and have a rave up there. Basically, it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. They let you take the plastic up. Or maybe they don't let you, but they just sort of don't acknowledge that you've done it, possibly. But
I mean, what's lovely about that pub is there's no kind of boundary, is there?
Nah.
You know, you just you buy your pint from it's basically a kiosk, and then you just go out into the world, you know?
Yeah. It's a kiosk with like pork scratchings, essentially. Yeah, very, very. It's not a glitzy place, but it's got a lot of character, and they're really nice people that run it. And mate, you can't get a better place to drink in the sunshine in Margate, because you're looking out over the whole bay, over everything. It doesn't get much better.
It's a special place, as you'll have all seen in our documentary about micropub culture. Exactly.
Yeah.
I had a very interesting experience. I haven't even told you this big news, Bradley.
Oh yeah.
But essentially, I had what I think I said to you was a lunch meeting, and then in London on Tuesday, and then I hung up and I was like, why didn't I tell Brad what that was? Because it's much more interesting than a lunch meeting. So I got an email a couple of weeks ago from the chairperson of the All Parliamentary Pub Group.
Oh, hello.
Which, if you don't know what all parliamentary groups are, is essentially it's a cross-party interest group where people from all the different parliamentary parties in the UK, MPs, meet up and discuss a certain topic and champion its cause. So there's ones for, presumably there's one for like oil. In fact, there definitely will be. It'd be very well funded. But this one is all about pubs. So it's a bunch of people that are passionate about pubs and about beer and about cider, and they chat about what needs to be done and maybe campaign for like beer duty to be frozen or lowered, or business rates to be lowered and stuff like that. And they've invited me to host the beer tasting element of their annual dinner.
Okay.
So on Tuesday,
it's a piss up in where? Parliament?
Not in Parliament, no. In 1 George Street, which is where they used to hold the British Guild of Beer Writers Awards. So where we had our rather epic night last December.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
So yeah, I'm the beer sommelier for that event, and on Tuesday we were doing the tasting. So basically, we tasted through about probably about 40 different beers across, and had 3 courses with vegetarian options and vegan options, and then matched it all. And there were a couple of people. There was a Baroness. There was some SPADs, which is special advisors, I think, to MPs, and then members of the All Parliamentary Pub group and myself. And we picked some beautiful beers. I don't know whether I can announce, but there's a certain award-winning Welsh bock being served, an unfiltered lager from Bristol, but not the one you're thinking of, and a barley wine from a brewery I've never drunk anything from is what was selected. So we've got 2 lagers and a barley wine.
Pissheads is what I'm saying. Pissheads.
Yeah. So yeah, that's early July, and then the next day, I am going to Parliament. I'm going to the Strangers Bar, which is
How did you get in there? What with those guys, or
is
this for the book?
Well, through the All Parliamentary Pub group. This is how it all came about. Yeah, exactly. It's for the book. So there's a chapter in the book called "Stick to Beer," which is all about why politics and beer inevitably intertwine.
Yeah.
And one of those is the underhand deals happening in the bars of Westminster. Although, as far as I can tell, it's not very underhand. It's mostly like, can you vote for this? And people go, buy me a pint. Is that underhand? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty out in the open.
Don't know. Well,
actually, it seems that Strangers Bar is mostly used for commiserations when you lose a vote. That seems to be what most of the stories I'm being told. But yeah, I'm going to go see it so I can describe it for the book and have a pint.
Cool. I thought you were going to say this is all to do with Keep Cask Alive and our campaign.
Well, I mean, this is why I accepted the dinner, because there's not going to be many opportunities for me to be in a room full of MPs with a microphone, Bradley.
No, that's very true.
So
have you got your Just Stop Oil t-shirt packed in your bag already?
No, none of that. I will have my Choose Cask t-shirt ready to go, though.
Cool. They think they're getting barley wine, but they're getting straight up crude oil down their necks. Fuck the police. Fuck the politicians, man. No.
I think you've probably just got me uninvited there. I reckon.
Nah, I'm only joking.
No, I might do a Choose Cask reveal. Why not?
Yeah, man.
It doesn't say black tie. It says smart casual.
Well, you could
so
wear,
I'll dress really smart, and
it's
underneath
a white t-shirt. Yeah, exactly, with a little dicky bow tie. That'd look great.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, our UNESCO campaign is obviously entirely stalled because of the massive roadblock we hit, which is that the UK government hasn't recognised intangible heritage as part of UNESCO yet. So either we change that law, or we campaign to change that law, or we wait for somebody else to campaign to change that law. But it's going to take a while. But once that happens, we'll be full steam ahead. And I'm going to be wearing a Choose Cask t-shirt at an MP's dinner. So yeah, that was my week in beer. And related, Geipelbock is absolutely amazing.
Nice.
And I'm going to order a bunch of Geipel off the back of that, because that beer was tasting sensational. Shall we talk about this week's video?
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah, so this is something... when did we go? It was mid-March. We actually went to Budvar.
Minus something degrees. That's...
It was minus 10, I think it was, on one of the days.
It's real cold. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the cellars, it was actually 12 degrees warmer than it was outside.
Which is still freezing.
Yeah. And you had a cold at the time.
Yeah. I'd forgotten I had a cold, and then I only remembered that I had a cold when we're in the lift in the video.
Yeah.
And you're like, Brad, can you smell anything? I'm like, no. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I had a fucking cold when we went. That was annoying. But that's how bad my memory's got, Johnny. Couldn't even remember that I had a cold.
What do you think is causing the memory loss?
I don't know. Stress.
Is it 7.5% pill? Oh, stress.
It's either anxiety or I've got this anxiety thing. It's probably that, or I'm dying. But hopefully I'm not dying, eh? Yeah.
That got darker than I expected. Way quicker. Yes. We went to Budvar. Brad couldn't smell much, but he could taste lots.
Somehow, even though those things should work independent of each other, I could still taste pretty bloody well.
Well, I think, with all colds, you have moments of clarity where everything unblocks and you're like,
yeah, life
is smell in colour.
Life is
again.
in full colour again. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, those cellars, lots of people, obviously in the comments, there's lots of comparisons between Pilsner Urquell and Budvar, and that's, super relevant for, Budvar original Budvar, I forget which way around it is, and Pilsner Urquell. But what was so amazing about Budvar as a brewery was what else was in the cellar. Like, the dark lager at tank was incredible. Obviously, the 7.5% Pilsners were wet hot Pilsners were just insane. There was a Most version, there was the SARS version, and there was another one that began with A, and I forget the name of the hop. It wasn't as good as the other two, but I mean, properly world class. I know we often say, "Oh, it's the best blah 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 in the world," but I can't think of a beer. I can't think of a place I'd rather drink beer than right by that cellar, right by that tank. It was
epic,
unreal.
It was epic, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Onitice was pretty great drinking by the open fermenters, but yeah, it was amazing. I think the thing that sort of from the outside, the brewery wasn't as beautiful and historic as Pilsner Urquell, but in the basement, which wasn't actually that far underground, if we're being 100% honest, but it was still the cellars. The innovation that was going on there and the experimentation, just for the love of beer and just wanting to try things out, none of that stuff was going out into the public. It was purely for the workers and just the joy of trying things out and seeing how epic they could make stuff. I don't remember that happening so much in PU, even though that place is beautiful and the cellars are like ridiculous. I don't remember such diversity.
I mean, there was none. It was one beer. They make one. Well, they make the Gambrinus brands, but to all intents and purposes, Pilsner Urquell is Pilsner Urquell. And I think that's a conscious choice they've made at some point. It's the original Pilsner. Why would we make others? I guess. But somebody asked me, should I go to the Pilsner Urquell cellars or to the Budvar cellars? If you're going to get to try the other things, it's the Budvar one, right?
Has to be.
It was so exciting to walk around there, and like the video, I don't know whether it even does justice to how long we were down there and all the different things we tried. Like we tried the dark lager that had only been lagering for 4 days. We tried it when it was ready to go. We tried the original really young and really old. We tried all of those different reserves. We tried the 33, which is essentially Budvar's, by definition, Czech Pilsner. So, much higher bitterness, slightly more residual sugar and sweetness and caramel notes. So closer to what Pilsner Urquell is, because Budvar's very, very, it's a bit like a Helles, really. It's quite sort of honeyed and low bitterness. So we were trying all kinds of stuff, and it's just a magical experience. But I don't know whether they do a tour that really does that. I think you try the original, and that's about it. But maybe if you get a good tour guide, tell them Johnny and Brad sent you.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, who?
Just keep saying to them, not this room. I want to see the other room. Not this. Not this tank.
You could look at the video and you'll see the number of the tank. And if you said like, I want to taste from this tank, they might be a bit like, oh, you know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a really good shout. Yeah. So do that. Freeze frame the points where you can see the tanks, and then show that to them and say, you did it for those idiots. Now do it for me. Yeah.
I can imagine Radim listening to this, holding his head in his hands as he realizes that. I mean, from the comments, hundreds of beer geeks are going to be headed to Budvar asking to taste the reserve.
Big time.
Tell me, what comments did you find from this week's video that you enjoyed?
So Alex Joyce said, I couldn't stop smiling whilst watching this. That's one to add to the bucket list. Mate, it totally is. David Ellis, never has a video made me want a beer as much as this one. Looking forward to the next one. So that's a good point. We've got part 2 coming up next week.
And a part 3.
And a part 3, which is
part 3.
Is Brad heavy, I believe.
It's all Brad. It's all Brad part 3.
All Brad,
it's all Brad and
Radim.
it's all beer.
It's all beer and all Radim and all Brad. And then, Yes, I'm just reading. I'm literally reading the top comments because they're all really good. Yarding around. What a beautiful place. Wonderful people. So many smiles. Great job, Craft Beer Channel. Oh, yeah, Robin Reed. This is a masterpiece. I doubt you'll top this one.
Steady on, Robin.
I know. This is a masterpiece. I doubt you'll top this one across the whole rest of the year. You are
He
back.
giveth and he taketh away.
I know. You are back and at the top of your game. Once again, Johnny, we weren't at the top of our game. Shit. But now we're back. We're back, baby.
We had a couple of other comments that were sort of like, I love these styles of videos. Please make more. And we would love to make more, but we will need more Patreons to do so. Budvar were very kind. They paid for hotels and flights, but there's a huge cost to making these videos. It took me 3 months to edit it. So yeah, if you love that kind of content, join our Patreon, help us raise the funds to do a bit more travel, because I think it's the best thing that we do, and it's what sets us apart most from both from written and from other video beer content. It's what we're best at. But it is intense.
It is intense, man. I think a lot of people would have assumed that was sponsored content. It wasn't.
If it's sponsored, it'll say it in the corner, everyone. I promise you. We'd never be sponsored without it being super obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We've got another comment from Liam Brown. More anticipation for this than Oppenheimer and Indiana Jones combined. Which I am more excited to see Indiana Jones than Oppenheimer. But I don't know. Have you seen the trailer?
Are you still excited about Indiana Jones? I mean,
the last one was
a fridge crash.
It was toilet poopies, wasn't it? But this one has got what's his name? It's got obviously Indy in it, but it's got the dude from the Lost Ark who helps him in the excavation. Who I can't remember his name, but somehow he looks the same age still. They haven't de-aged him.
Oh, he's one of those.
He's one of those. He's the guy with I think his name's Griff Jones or something. Or Joe, I can't remember what he's called. He's an English actor, but he plays a kind of Egyptian digger expert man. But he's back in it, and I always thought he was quite a cool character. So, yeah, somehow he's still alive. I thought that guy would be dead, but he's alive. They're racing around on a little motorcycle, I think, at one point with a sidecar. Oh, it looks great, Johnny.
I'm amazed that... is there much CGI of Harrison? Because he's...
I don't know. He's 80
an old man.
Something, I believe.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. And, obviously he's getting older. They're acknowledging that. So it looks like it's set maybe late 50s, early 60s. And there's stuff...
Right.
I don't know, actually, I need to watch it again, but there's bits in the trailer where he's racing on a horse through New York City, and it looks epic. He's, underground in the subway, and there's a train that's coming at him, and he's on a friggin' horse. Looks cool, man. Just looks real cool.
What's he doing in New York?
I don't know. What? And it hasn't got Shia LaBeouf in it, which is also probably a good thing.
Probably for the best.
Although
you never know what you're going to get with him.
I don't mind Shia, but I know he's a controversial character. I think he's quite a good actor outside of his private life, where he might be.
He's a bit like Nicolas Cage. I think he either makes it or he ruins it.
Yeah. Or both.
Friend of the podcast, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Between Nicolas Cage and Morrismen, I think we mention them more than we mention many important stars of beer.
Got it all covered. Oh, do you know what, Johnny? I've got a Morrismen reference now. You've opened yourself up. Oh, no, maybe I mentioned it last week. This is what I'm talking about, my memory. I saw the Morrismen just shopping. I did mention it last week, didn't I? Yeah.
I don't think you mentioned Morrismen shopping.
Oh, right. Well, when I was, I think it was this weekend just gone. I was out having just a coffee on George Street in Hastings Old Town. It's a sort of lovely little kind of pathed high street with lots of hickledy-pickledy shops and very old pubs, and I could hear this wonderful jingling going along the street, Johnny. I knew what it was. My heart raced, and I looked out. I got up off of my coffee chair, and I said to Kirsty and her parents and their dog Lottie, I said, "That's a Morris dancer. I hear their bells." And I walked away from
like
the table.
Like a tiny child on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Listening for the bells.
Just absolutely magical. Literally Rudolph turning up or something. I just got up and I walked out. I squinted my eyes down the road, Johnny. There they were. There were two Morrismen, and do you know what they were doing? They were shopping. They were shopping. Yeah.
What were they buying?
I don't know. They were just sort of looking in shops, and I thought, well, that's sort of broken the mystique.
I mean, heroes have to shop, right?
They've
got to have a normal life in between their celebrity.
But surely Morrismen
prancing about.
They just
moments.
They just function on maybe they're buying new sticks, but they don't eat Morrismen. They just drink cask ale.
Yeah.
And maybe the occasional mince pie when it's seasonal times. Maybe a pork pie.
What about like a Scotch egg?
A Scotch egg are probably
pub
acceptable. Snacks. I would say anything that you can eat that you wouldn't worry if it dropped on the floor for a few seconds when you're dancing. Yeah, it fell out of one of your pouches. Maybe they've got little.
See,
pouches.
now I'm envisioning that even when they're at home, just like having dinner, they're still dancing.
Yeah, they're still dancing.
So like knife and fork is out.
Yeah, they don't take the uniform off ever, Johnny. They're like never needs. They're just doing their thing, jingling. I mean, I bet they make lots of jingles in the shower.
Wait, they shower in there?
Maybe they've got jingles. They've just attached jingles to themselves. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they just jingle. Who knows? Who can know? Who can really know until you are in...
Do you think when you retire as a Morrisman...
Yeah, you don't retire.
You still kind of hear the bells?
They just... Well, that's a good imagery there, Johnny. I think you're not allowed to retire. I think they probably put you into the pork pies if
you're in until you die.
Yeah, you're Sweeney Todded if you want to leave.
Oh my God.
It's like the ancient order of the Morrismen. Do you reckon they're like Illuminati? I don't think they are. I think they're just blokes that want to get pissed. And women. I keep saying blokes, but women also do Morris dancing. You've derailed with this Morris chat, Johnny. That wasn't me this time.
No, I think it was you that said I've got a Morrisman story. Anyway, yes, let's get back to it. So I've got a comment from oh my God, Evgeny Avabuk. I'm sorry if that's entirely wrong. But he says, can you ask them why Budvar from bottle and can is way different from a tap? It looks like a different beer. Clearly not his first language. Do they use a different recipe or a technology for that? As far as I know, there is no difference between what goes into can, bottle, and keg. The bottles are in green. They probably shouldn't be, and that can create light strike, skunking, slight weedy flavours. Can, there wouldn't be any of that. And obviously in keg there won't be any of that. But I genuinely think the main difference is it's really easy to be cynical about the Czech pour, right? And go like, pouring a layer of foam or reducing the CO2 or whatever it is can't make that much of a difference. And I really, really, really think it does, because I'm fairly certain it is the same liquid going into all of these formats, and they do taste entirely different. And I think actually, if you do like an English pour of the Budvar, it does taste quite similar to the can. It's more spiky, it's less malty, it's less kind of nuanced with like the honey and the caramel, the kind of decoction character, because the CO2 cuts through it. CO2, I don't think it has any bitterness as a chemical, but it feels bitter, that carbonic bite. And I think that's the difference. It makes it feel lighter, more bitter, less malty. And I think that's what it is. And I really, really wish that the rest of the world would pour their Pilsners in the way that the Czech Republic do.
I have to agree. I think it's the pour as well. I think there's no magic in the different things going in different vessels, whether it's can, bottle, or tank. But I think it's 100% the side pour. And the control that the beer has over his pour.
And the other thing, of course, to note is freshness might be different. Kegs will be fresher for longer because temperature changes are lower. Perhaps the distribution is better. It's not sat on, say, like a supermarket shelf getting warm for several months before you pick it up. So keg is probably quite likely to be fresher as well. And then there's the context of it as well. If you're drinking Budvar from the tap, in Budweiser, even a can is going to taste better there because of the context that you're in. It's always going to help. So yeah, it's a bit like we talked about in the video with Adam. It's like change lots of little things and you end up with an entirely different beer. And the pour is the biggest part of that. I think it's Go on, you go, Brad.
No, go on.
Well, I was just going to say it's. I think to some extent for somebody like Adam who's got this recipe that you can't really change, he has to tweak, according to the ingredients each year. But what they're trying to do is capture the character that you get in that tank, because in the tanks it tastes so fresh and bready, it tastes so silky smooth, and that's the real challenge of the head brewer. And I don't think that any Czech breweries really nailed that tank feeling when it's not from a tank. It just seems impossible to do. Because, like we say in the video, there's no, it's named after the tanks that they come out of. There is no better place to drink a lager than out of the lagering tanks. It's just an experience that hasn't been beaten. And if somebody did work out how to do it, they make a lot of money because it's a different beer.
Can somebody out there please 3D print? I wanted to put a click on top, like the Guinness draft top, but
dude, we've talked about. I've approached professional 3D printing companies about doing this, because I think it would be a really cool video to sort of tell that story, even if it didn't work. But creating some kind of side valve tap effect.
It's the valve.
It's a ball valve.
The ball valve. The way you can adjust the flow and the pressure, the amount of CO2 coming through, all of that stuff. It's witchcraft, mate. It's witchcraft.
Which I've tried to. I mean, I think Sapporo in Japan came up with some kind of techie
like
gadget
a clip on
thing.
top. They've got a slushy.
They've got the slushy thing, but I
think
think there was something else. I can't remember. I'm going to look into it, but maybe we should start looking at that again because it would be a cool video.
Yeah.
In the meantime, like I said in the video a couple of weeks ago, I've started hard pouring my lagers because you do get a tighter foam and less carbonation, which is part of it. And what I've also started doing after editing that video a million times is trying to hard pour, like really hard pour for half of the pour, and then slowly pour underneath that head, so that I don't pour like hard through the head and destroy that head, because once you start sort of popping those bubbles, they'll all start to pop. But pouring gently down the side of the glass, and it's purely anecdotal right now, but I do seem to get better head retention that way.
We need to do a video with different lager pouring techniques, don't we, and do a side by side.
Try and recreate the Czech pour without a sideball valve. Yeah. I mean, this is literally how I'm spending my evenings now. I'm because I don't go out anymore. That's what I do with my life. So I'll report back, and when I've got something to report back, we'll do a video.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I really hope all of you enjoyed that video. It was epic. It was an epic edit, that's for sure. We had 2.5 hours of interview content, and God knows how much B-roll that has been edited down into just under an hour across the 2 episodes. And then we've got the 3rd episode, which is a proper pouring masterclass with the different Czech pours, including the half and half, which I forget the Czech name for, but Brad nails it. It's going to be a great video. So that's what's coming up on the Craft Beer channel soon. Lots more Budvar content. It's really exciting to see everybody super hyped about a great classic Czech Pilsner. That's why we do what we do, to get people excited about not just about IPA, essentially. Yeah. So it's been great to see that, and yeah, there's loads more to come. Anything to add, Bradders?
Just that 90 days is a quarter of a year. It's not a third of a year, Johnny.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
And what else? We can die now because we've drunk that beer out of that tank, as in our lovely tour guide.
But we want to die. We want to die underneath the tank.
Under the tank, yeah. Sorry, that was so context to the video. And also, I loved Adam's, the head brewer's comment, which is patience is one of the ingredients when making lager, which I agree with. So I think those are all lots of good quotes in this one. I thought Really, really great. Just the passion.
The Czechs are philosophical about their beer.
Very philosophical. I just think the you could just taste. You know, you go to places and the beer tastes amazing, but this one, you could just see the pure joy on everyone's faces that we met, and the love. You could taste the love in that beer, Johnny. Love and beer, as always.
I'm unsure about the phrasing, but you're right.
Yeah.
It's passion frequently ends up with a much better beer because because of the attention to detail that you put in when you are super passionate about something.
Exactly.
Yeah. So please do buy tickets to our festival. Please do join us for the live tasting on the 24th of June, and please do go to Budvar, I guess.
And please do join our Patreon so we
join our Patreon so we can make more of this stuff.
Budvar and other places. Yeah.
Yeah, not just back to Budvar. That would just be a jolly for us now at this point.
Yeah.
To other cool places.
Indeed.
And make the kind of documentary style stuff that we love doing. That's it from us for this week. We'll see you next week back in... I'm going to mispronounce it for you once again. České Budějovice. It's horrible, isn't it? I'm sorry. And of course, back for Friday, 5 p.m. next week. And if you're in Bristol, I'll see you there. Love and beer. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's craft beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the craft beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.